Marvel is quietly retooling amongst superhero fatigue, but X-Men is apparently not for us conservatives out there. So I wonder how that superhero fatigue happened. Let's talk nerdum. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Talking Nerds. I had no idea where I was going with that intro, but I did it anyways. We are back after 2 weeks. I was like, can I connect these two thoughts? Maybe. It kind of worked.
Figure it out.
It kind of worked.
Better connection than any of the Marvel scripts. So
True. This is true. Welcome back, everybody. We are back after being gone for a week. This is going to be the new normal. We are going to be doing every other week going forward. Next week, we are going to be recording a very special review for you guys, hopefully to be released maybe a week later. I don't know yet. We'll see. Possibly. So good things. Lots of things have happened since we were last together. Avatar: The Last Airbender, of course, the live action Netflix show released. Just as I was finishing up the original show, I'm just fresh off the original show, which is incredible. And then I had to watch this steaming pile of current day Hollywood. So we'll be talking about that soon. I don't know when it's going to come out, but gotta say, so far I'm not liking it. It's very cringy. Like almost everything else, except from what I've heard so far, Dune Part 2, which hopefully we will be seeing this weekend, as long as there's still tickets, I guess. So yeah, lots of exciting things happening right now. We got a bunch of news to catch up on, so that's mostly what we're going to be doing tonight. And welcome, Grandpa Andy, right off the bat. Of course, we're not seeing Dune for the popcorn buckets, but we will be getting popcorn buckets, and they will be shown on the podcast eventually.
That is not what the group chat's been saying. That's the only reason people are going.
I'm just using that as my excuse, right?
Popcorn buckets.
Yeah, that's right. Get that nice and margined up. Alrighty. Anyways, so welcome back again. My name is Biggie. I'm joined tonight by my fellow co-host, Blue Man producer, and the Bicky Buffalo. Welcome back.
The biggest buffalo in
biggest buffalo of all the buffs.
yes.
The buffest Piccolo.
The flying bison Bick.
Ooh.
With going with the Avatar theme here.
Well, it's a common misconception. Bison and buffalo are very different.
We say when we want him to start flying, we say Bick, and then he starts flying.
Instead of yip.
Yep.
Nice. I got wings.
That's right. Of course, we do have a special guest, hopefully popping in later tonight. The Flash, ladies and gentlemen. Still don't know who he is. It's gonna happen one of these days. We'll eventually find out.
We'll find out.
But, of course, the fastest man alive is still the slowest coast on the show, so hopefully he'll be here eventually. Only time will tell.
He's saving the planet. He's saving the planet. You know,
he's saving the planet 1 2-year-old at a time. So
1 2-year-old at a time.
Yes. Just like in the movie when Flash was throwing babies into microwaves.
Yeah. Granted, it's the same 2-year-old every single night.
It's the same 2-year-old every single night, but heroes wear different responsibilities, I guess. Oh, by the way, I saw Madam Web. That kind of reminded me. What an awful movie. But one of the key points I just thought was hilarious was the line from the movie where he said, "With great responsibility comes power." That was a line from the movie. Very original and kind of low key evil if you think about it. Kind of dark side of the Force. But yeah, I'll be talking about Madam Web in a bit. First, tell us about your week, Buffalo Bick.
Well, I'm continuing to go through Attack on Titan. I'm about 13 or 14 episodes in. It's getting good.
Yeah. It's the best news.
Oh,
Yeah. Love the theme song. I was a little skeptical about the twist at first, but I don't know if I'm gonna ruin it. I'm just gonna say how he can turn into a Titan. At first I was a little skeptical, but it's when you think about the whole show, it's not crazy at all. So
you're not thinking about the whole show yet. So
right.
Trust me. Each season progressively will blow your mind, and you'll just be like, I didn't see this coming at all. So
yeah. And you'll wonder where we started. You'll be like, where were we again at the beginning? I don't even remember.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
You're like, how did I think that Eren turning into a Titan was the craziest thing this show could do?
Yeah. When they first showed him, I knew that Eren had something to do with it. I just didn't know it was him. I just thought he was, mind controlling it, which he kind of is. But
yeah, I did. We did review this actually like a year ago, but I had no idea. I already knew that was already spoiled for me going into it, so it was just a matter of time. I was waiting for it to happen. So that was, but that's just, it's just scraping the surface for the things that will progress in this show. So
yeah,
it's pretty insane.
So that was good, and I did start the Bad Batch.
I decided I'm not watching
it. It's not horrible. It's not great, but not horrible is good these days. So I'm pensively optimistic.
But it's just like, if I could watch something better, I'm gonna watch something better, So
true.
And if we're not reviewing it on here, which we aren't, it's like, what's the point?
Yeah, but to Buffalo's point, I mean, what else is there right now to watch that's better?
Well, a new show just came out on Hulu, FX, called Shogun. There's 2 episodes or 3 episodes out right now. It's a weekly show. It's incredible. I've heard everybody praise it. So if you have Hulu, go check that out. It's like a samurai. It's like Vikings, the show Vikings for samurai. So go check it out.
That did look good. I like that actor too. That guy, he is pretty cool.
Yeah, so I'm gonna check it out after I finish torturing myself with live action Avatar. But once I'm through that, I will be starting Shogun. So
nice.
So go check that out. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. So that was pretty much most of my last couple weeks, just watching those.
Cool.
Nice. Getting over some sickness and these allergies. This freaking weather going up and down is the worst. Feel like death.
Yep. I missed all the bad weather last week. I heard there was a nice tornado in the Midwest. So
there's 2
tornadoes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot. One came probably like 400 or 500 feet away from me.
Yeah. Pretty crazy.
It's pretty crazy.
Yep. I was in good old Texas, where it actually was kind of cold. Surprisingly, it was 40 and 50s one day, and I was shivering because I did not bring any layers. So, yeah, that was rough. But anyways, Bluey, tell us about your week.
Let me tell you, I had a week full of spreading freedom and democracy. That's right. That's right. Helldivers 2, baby. Helldivers 2. I was dropping nukes. Things. I was turning planets into dust, bro. It was amazing.
Spreading freedom around the universe.
I was spreading freedom and managed democracy all over.
One dune bucket.
My new empire. Yeah. One dune bucket at a time.
Yeah. So that's a thing. Helldivers 2, probably one of the most incredible community experiences that I've ever been a part of.
Really?
Wow. Yeah, like just as like a community, like a whole thing where it's not too often these days where like a player base can unite around something in a positive way.
This is true. Even FromSoft, they're like, you weebs with katanas out there, you suck.
Yeah,
It's
like you'll always be like, "Oh, your Rivers of Blood classic," and you always
just let
get hate
people
for
play
that,
the game
or
they want to play the game, for goodness
right,
sake.
and then you'll get someone say, "Oh yeah, I just like first try no hit."
Yeah,
Melania, so
no
I don't know
hit.
what everybody's
Melania's
problem is.
easy. You guys are all you guys are all plebs.
Yeah, just get good guys.
Just get good.
Souls veteran here.
You scrubs. Yeah.
So, but it's not often that you'll get a whole entire player base like work towards common goals and like have a positive outlook on the game that they're playing for the experience that it is. So to jump on that wagon in Helldivers 2 and literally like contribute to a community-wide goal in game, or goals in game, and just have a blast. It's fun. So yeah, I was playing Helldivers last week.
Nice.
And then I haven't started Bad Batch yet, but I will get to that. I don't think I've been watching really anything. If I'm not watching something, it's probably because I'm playing something. If I'm not playing something, it's probably because I'm watching something. So that's kind of how that trade-off works.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I thought there was something else I was going to talk about.
You start Avatar yet?
No, I don't. No.
Well, you got to watch it before next Tuesday.
I know.
8 episodes.
I know.
I had to stop several times throughout. I'm like, this is sad. You know, part of it is probably because I just finished the original series, but it's just agonizing.
Yeah. Oh,
So-
I did. Sorry.
Was it like a bait and switch thing? Because the preview was like exact. Or we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. Tyler, finish your thought, and then I'll get into my week. But
okay, I started X-Men, the animated series.
Oh, nice. Are you planning on watching all of it before?
I don't really know. I just like started it. You know,
it's 5 seasons.
Say that. Wow. Yeah, I know. But I think I'm like 5 or 6 episodes in. This was like
what a huge dent
last week. I know, huge dent.
It comes out in 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that was the other thing I had to say, I think. And that's it. If I think of something, I'll say it. But what's up with you, Bigster? The biggies?
I was out of town, so I didn't do much last week. But I did get Zach and I watched all of One Piece again. For me, this is my 3rd time I think through. So Zach's seen it all. He really enjoyed it. So Bluey, you're the only one left now. You gotta finish it up. Then maybe we can do a review on it finally. So
I will do that because I will be getting Netflix, so I can watch both of the one.
Oh, I forgot you didn't have Netflix. Yeah. Fair enough.
I guess my boycott will end.
Yes, your boycott will end. So we did that. I obviously finished up Avatar: Last Airbender on the airplane. On my way home Sunday morning, I just watched a bunch of Avatar, and then of course started the new Avatar. So it's first of all, the original series is a kids cartoon, so there's a lot of like positivity. Like there's a lot of funny quips. The characters are lighthearted. They're funny. That whole aspect of it is just completely gutted from the live action show. I've only watched 2 episodes so far, but you're trying to condense the whole entire first season into 8 episodes, which is never easy to do, obviously. But I just don't think they do it the right way. They don't let things play out the way they do. Like you don't. They give you everything right off the bat instead of letting you learn it throughout the show, and it's just really cringy. They don't nail any of the characters correctly. Uncle Iroh is like very, very serious and not funny at all. He tries to make jokes, but they're not funny. They're not even a bit. It's not even Marvel humor. It's really stupid humor, which is saying a lot, I guess. Zuko is not he's a grumpy teenager, I'd say, at the beginning of the show, But this is like next level, modern day. Like he takes a whole modern day approach to grumpy teenager, who's like misunderstood and all that stuff. You know, Aang is just a sad little boy who can't do anything. Like he's like right off the bat in the cartoon, he's like kind of still a badass. You know, like he's hopeful and everything. This Aang doesn't want to do anything. He's scared to use his powers, and literally in the second episode, Avatar Kyoshi like takes over his body and does stuff for him. And I was like, this is just okay. Avatar Kyoshi's badass and everything, but this was literally just an excuse to throw a woman boss, a girl boss, into their show and outdo Aang. It's like that's not the point of her character. And of course, you know the crown prince of this all was Sokka being a little, you know, twerp throughout the entire thing.
Right.
They tried to like find the balance between not being sexist and still having his like stabby like humor, you know, that he has in the show. Doesn't work at all. It does not work at all. It's like he's switching between two characters constantly. It's just weird. And also Katara is kind of, you know, lame, and she like learns her waterbending way too quickly in this. It's just it just doesn't do justice at all. It's not really woke, I would say. It's just not good. So
that's kind of what the movie was when that came out.
It's like, feeling like the movie, yes. Aang, we gotta go.
This is the sad part. It's like nobody can nail down what, like, maybe it's just not meant to be at this point.
It's just not meant to be. I saw something on Facebook, or maybe it was Reddit. It was like, they should have just made an anime adaptation of this instead of a live action, and that would have been phenomenal.
Yeah,
and I agree, 100%. So, yeah. It just also doesn't really work in live action, I think. Now that I'm thinking about it, like just the way everything, like the bending works, it's like it looks really stupid in live action. So
it's a bad CGI.
I mean, you have to rely on CGI. Even if it's good, you have to rely on it.
It's very heavily CGI, yeah. It does. It looks, you know, looks like anything else that's coming out. So yeah, we'll do a full review next you know, soon, but that's my initial review. I'm not really liking it. I'm very excited for Dune Part 2, because it's the, you know, the one good thing. And in the
I've only heard good things about it.
I've heard really great things. The only critiques I've heard is some of the character work is not great in some of the characters, and Zendaya in particular is awful, I've heard. So we'll see. But I heard you know, what's his face? Timothée Chalamet is incredible. Like this is the best acting he's ever done. Well, maybe Dune Part 1's a little better, but he did very well in this. So I'm excited. I'm very excited to see it. Not I've heard it's not as good as the first one. They don't have a lot of battles, and it's a very slow burn. But you know, it's one of those movies you got to see in IMAX, you know, or at least in the theater. So it'll be a visual masterpiece for sure. So I'm excited. Plus popcorn bucket.
You see the video of that guy riding around the worm in the theater?
Yes, I did.
He's got like the hoverboard. He's like riding the worm.
I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah,
I was like, nice. Yeah, and then I streamed Elden Ring again, Uncle Biggie, last night, so you can go check that out here on YouTube and Twitch. It should all I have to put it in the gaming playlist, but you'll be able to find it in there as well. So go check that out. And we might be playing later tonight. Disney is getting better. I always drink a Bud Light watching.
Okay.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. I guess that's I guess you like instantly like it if you start drinking Bud Light. That would make sense.
Yeah.
Or you're just like fine with it because you're just constantly peeing anyways, so it's like you miss everything anyways. So that's, you know, whatever way you look at it. Yep. Drinking pee and peeing pee. That's how it works. with Bud Light at least. So, let's get into some fun news. Oh shoot, I should probably share my screen. Here we go. All right, so Marvel is quietly retooling amid superhero fatigue. So I think a long time ago, Kevin Feige said he would. He doesn't. I guess he would. If things started going bad, he would stop. He would just stop the MCU. What's up now, Kevin Feige? I think you're kind of past that point.
Well, I guess the question is, what's the metric of bad to Kevin Feige?
Exactly. So he said the golden box office for Marvel Studios has been dented, but Kevin Feige isn't scrapping his year-long cinematic universe plan, just refining it. They're not going to give up. Hey, I was once a man trapped in a woman's body when I was born. I think this is why I have an urge to drink Bud Light. You know? Whatever way makes you feel good about yourself, I guess.
We're very happy for you.
Very happy for you.
I'm glad you've got that figured out, and I'm glad you're living your life.
Yes, you know, if I can use a katana and Elden Ring, you can drink a Bud Light. Yes, I am drinking a Baja Blast right now.
Having a Baja Blast.
I'm having a Baja Blast. So just over a year ago, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania was set to take Marvel Studios to the next level. A new villain was going to be introduced. Yes. Very, very far down into the Quantumverse, in fact. That was their main villain, this tiny little threat. I am just joking. Sorry. No. Hey, please continue. There are no... It is only offensive. We don't get offended, but we will offend people. So, please go ahead.
I'm boycotting Bud Light, so I'm glad that someone is enjoying it for me.
Yes, that's right.
Hey, Trump did endorse it, so
he also endorsed the vaccine. All right. Anyways, let's continue. A new villain was going to be introduced, setting the stage for several years worth of storytelling. And the movie itself was a giant sizing of a franchise that was previously modest in scope. Yeah, maybe Marvel got too big for their britches, but I just think it's the writing. Instead, the Peyton Reed directed movie heralded a year's worth of missteps, box office blunders, and PR nightmares. It was all uncharted territory for Marvel, which had steadily been generating box office gold for 15 years. But the Disney division is in the midst of a pretty darn good February, all things considered. I don't know about that. I don't know what you would call a pretty darn good February. But, you know, let's continue.
That's the clause right there, the all things considered.
All things considered. All things considered, you're in a dumpster fire with a hobo pissing on you. That's what's happening. I don't think
pretty darn good February.
I like being pissed on. Marvel is the best. What not to like? Men in tights and Speedos. More like women in tights and Speedos, I guess. But
no, we don't even get that. We just get women.
Well, yeah, angry women, lesbians, and transgenders.
CGI'd women.
Yes. But okay, so this is their reasoning for pretty darn good February. The Super Bowl trailer for Deadpool and Wolverine became the most watched trailer of all time with 365 million views in 24 hours. Yet, Disney's math includes the 123 million people who tuned in for the game. Yes. That's not your audience. They just happen to be watching the show, and then your trailer popped up. So, yeah, your math is not really mathing here. So, which included and then here's the caveat: included just 30 seconds of the trailer. They said the rest, of course, they directed the rest of the trailer on YouTube, so they didn't even give the full trailer. It was only 30 seconds, and that was their most watched trailer of all time. Okay, Disney. But it even says here, but super full fudging or not, The clip's reach was there it is. Yeah, it's a clip. The clip's reach was an encouraging number for a studio whose last movie, The Marvels, became the lowest grossing in the MCU's 33 film run, hitting just $206 million globally. And
that's the thing. It's pretty sad when a clip of your trailer is your best shining moment of.
That's all pretty darn good, all things considered.
That's pretty darn good, all things considered. That everything's been tanking.
Yeah. By the way, Madam Web is currently grossing, I think, 60 million.
Whoa. Is that globally?
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yep. I think it's projected to make maybe 100, maybe a little bit more. I don't know.
Let me get those numbers real quick.
It's another one we can add to our list of making more money then.
Yes. Marvel's is doing pretty darn good, all things considered.
Yeah, look how great this is when you look at the graph compared
Sony,
to
am I right? Yeah. Next game, the Valentine's Day unveiling of the cast of the Fantastic Four. Right. So Marvel's doing good because they unveil the cast for a future movie that doesn't even come out for another year. Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Ebon Moss, I'm not going to try to say that name, and Joseph Quinn, coupled with retro art teasing a 1960s setting for the movie. The Fantastic Four are a cornerstone of the Marvel's mythos, with writer Stan Lee and artist Jack Kirby introducing the team. Okay, so we know about them. All right. A day later, Marvel launched the trailer for X-Men 97, a revival of the 1990s cartoon that debuts in March. The trailer set an internal Disney record as the biggest launch for an animated series on Disney Plus, ahead of other Marvel shows such as What If. Disney Plus has been around for 4 years, and this is supposed to. So what record? Like, this is supposed to be a big deal because it's beating records on their young platform.
All things considered.
All things considered, pretty darn good. I can't watch anything Marvel anymore. It's like they are trying to show us men designed to love each other. Deadpool and the Wolverine it ruined for me now. Yes, I agree with you there. I agree with you there. Basically, you just got to look at everything like it's gonna be crap, and usually you're right. It's a craps roll, every single time.
So after the weekend box office, Madam Web's at 91 mil global.
Okay, all right. Hey, pretty darn good.
Hey,
all things
for
considered.
March. Hey, all things considered, pretty darn good for March.
Pretty
5th.
Darn good.
Okay. For not having the trailer in the same month as this, pretty darn good.
Yep. Pretty darn good. Good job, Madam Web. I guess I was going to give a little review on that. Maybe I'll do that later. But I forgot most.
It's even worth it.
To be honest,
we're making more money than that movie is right now.
True. Yeah, it was sad. The funniest part, I missed the 90s and I was born in 98.
Simpler times.
Simpler times, yes. No, one of the funniest parts was clearly they had a big deal with Pepsi in this movie, and so they constantly showed Pepsi products, and the villain of the movie died because the Pepsi sign fell on him, and it was the P in Pepsi Cola, so they framed it so that his face would be in the hole of the P, and then he sunk to the bottom of a river. That was his death.
I thought it was going to be because he had too much Coke.
Yep. There you go. That would have actually been better death. What an awful movie. Yeah, I mean, Sydney Sweeney was the best part of the movie, to be completely honest. Like, her acting, as dull as it is, was the best acting in the whole film.
Hot take, I don't think she's that good of an actress.
She's not. She's literally not at all. But she was better than literally everybody else. Dakota Johnson, I mean, she should just quit while she's ahead at this point.
Well, here's something interesting. I can read this for you real quick if you don't mind. She got interviewed, and someone said, they asked, like, so how do you feel about the reception of Madam Web? And she's like, unfortunately, I'm not surprised that it's gone down the way it has. And then she was asked, is there a reason for that? She's like, it's hard to get movies made, and in these big movies that get made, it's even starting to happen with the little ones, which is what's really freaking me out. Decisions are being made by committees, and so art isn't doing well when it's made by the committee. And then she said films are made by a filmmaker and a team of artists around them. You can't make art based on numbers and algorithms. My feeling has been for a long time that audiences are extremely smart, and executives have started to believe that they're not. Audiences will always be able to sniff out bullshit. Even if films start to be made with AI, humans aren't going to fucking want to see those.
You know, I agree with you, Dakota Johnson, but you're still not a good actress. So
based, but also
could be a writer.
Retire.
Yeah. The best parts of Madam Web were the interviews, to be completely honest, on the red carpet. So
yeah,
even Sydney Sweeney bashed Madam Web on SNL. So
yeah. And her monologue there, I was like, that's kind of cringe. I don't want to see you monologue.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Anyways,
the movies these days are so bad that Flash Gordon is worth watching again. You know what? Anything prior to like 2015 is worth watching. Watch everything from beyond, from as early as you could possibly watch,
except for Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Except for Avatar, anything M. Night mostly is bad. So, yeah, there's of course bad stuff out there, but a lot of that bad stuff is still better than we got today. So.
Still better than the stuff we got now.
Yeah. Anyway, so these public-facing moves come out as studio boss Kevin Feige recalibrates the creative direction behind the scenes. Early in February, the company completed reshoots for Agatha Darkhold Diaries. I think that's the current name, but I actually think they might have changed it even after this. Is
that like fourth or fifth name?
It's the fourth or fifth rendition of that name. They cannot get it down. The movies and games these days are not worth my time anymore. Hey, there are some good games, but for the most part,
Divers too, brother. Go spread, manage democracy.
We're going to be talking about some Suicide Squad a little bit here. But yes.
Well, the problem with Agatha Darkhold Diaries, or whatever edition the name is at this point, is that's not completing reshoots is not a positive thing, because now like you might say, oh, okay, well they see that something's wrong and they're trying to fix it. No, what that means is like they're reshooting, and now it's going to be so choppy. Like the show is basically pulled apart to bits now, because there's going to be probably zero continuity. You're probably not going to understand anything, and the writing is just going to be way worse because it's just like scribbled in chicken scratch in between stuff that they already written, and then it's like, oh, we have to adjust. So like this is not looking good for this show, and not to say we had hopes for it anyways, but it is not looking good.
You know why Dune did so great? They planned ahead.
They planned ahead. I know they stuck to the source material.
I was gonna say
they stuck to source material. They planned everything that they needed to do. They shot it all out. Boom, done. No need for reshoots. Yep. I was just thinking about this. Someone sent some. I think Zach sent something in on the Instagram DM, and I was thinking about the DC movies. I'm not going to show it tonight, but there was this AI image that went out of the new Superman suit, and everybody's like, I know this is AI, but this actually looks amazing, because it looked like the OG Superman stuff. And I was thinking, like, they wouldn't have to do all these reshoots and stuff. They'd probably not make as much money if they did what I'm just about to suggest. But why not, for DC, just go right into the DC universe as if everybody knows everything about DC? You just plopped right into the DC movies, because that's how comics work. You don't have to read all the comics in the world to understand comics. You can pick up any comic book and start reading it. And if you want to have some backstory, you go back and read previous stuff. And that way, people, thank you very much, Polar Knights, for dropping a follow. If you're interested in learning more, you might actually get people to read the source material. You know what? The comic book market might actually be saved if you actually, cater towards the comic book fans. You might actually get people interested in the real stuff. And, of course, you might not attract as many normies, but you're still going to get a pretty large audience, and you're probably going to save other aspects of your company. And you're just going to get better
people who love the what you're making.
Exactly, and you're gonna get better content anyways, because all you got to do is make a live action version of your comics. That's why the DC animated movies are so good, is because for the most part they're just the comics, you know. Not so much in recent years, I will say, but in the older ones, you know, early 2000s, mid 2000s, those were pretty accurate. So, you know, maybe something to think about, DC. Considering Marvel is retooling right now. So
whatever that means.
Whatever that means. So the WandaVision spin-off starring Catherine Hahn that is expected to hit Disney Plus this fall. Maybe. I am taking Talking Nerds advice. I will start to read more hentai and manga. Hey, you know, we support you reading whatever you want to read. That is up to you. I will say manga is pretty awesome. So yes, but
I love
you do you. You do you, sir.
While sipping on your Bud Light.
While sipping on your Bud Light, you probably drink it out of a straw too. Your paper straw, hopefully. Save the environment.
Save the turtles.
Save the turtles. Save the lion turtles. That's an Avatar reference. In your Stanley. There you go. The company usually budgets 5 days of reshoots into the schedule, but the studio completed the work in just one. Wow. Good job, guys. Feeling a sunny outlook around the show internally, according to sources associated with the series. The studio also quietly hired Eric Pearson to polish the script for Fantastic Four, which will shoot this summer in London. Pearson is a company stalwart who worked on Thor Ragnarok and Black Widow. That's great news. That is fantastic news. Fantastic Four is going to be so good. Especially with Pedro Pascal in the lead role. And has a reputation for taking projects over the finish line. Nice. He's a good finisher, as they say. The stakes for that movie are high, as the studio is still searching for characters and actors who can carry its universe forward after the exits of RDJ and Chris Evans. I agree with RDJ. Chris Evans, there are probably better people who could play it better than him. For instance, Jack Reacher, what's his name?
Alan Richardson.
He could be a much better Captain America. He actually looks like Captain America from the comics. So
yeah, he does. Also, he had a bid for Thor. I don't know if you knew that.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'm down for that too, honestly.
But no, this was back when they were original cast.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay. I use a baby milk bottle, top drinking a bud. I can cosplay being a liberal. Nice. You fit right in here.
Welcome to the talk.
Welcome to the community. We should come up with a name for our community. We'll think of that. You know,
we'll think of something.
Suggestions. Polar Knights. Come up with some suggestions. The best suggestions come from chat. So, all right. Marvel also hired Joanna Kahlo, the showrunner of acclaimed FX series The Bear, which I heard was actually pretty good, to work on the script for Thunderbolts. The film will begin shooting in March in Atlanta. Okay, blah, 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 blah. So basically this article is like, things aren't that bad, right? Marvel's also cleaning up the creative mess left in the wake of Jonathan Majors, your main bad, the once rising actor who, by the way, I think we've said this before, learned acting at clown school.
Yeah.
That was your main bad. Top of the line. Okay.
I don't know where we're going with that.
I don't know where we're going with that either, but all right. Jonathan Majors, the once rising actor cast to play the linchpin villain in the next Avengers movies, but who in December was found guilty. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Marvel dropped Majors hours after the conviction and was rewriting those movies, which will now either minimize the character or excise him entirely, which I hope they do. Just scrap it. The first of the new Avengers movie due out in 2026 was titled Avengers King Dynasty. Will now be, I can't remember what it's called now. I think they have a new name for it, but they don't have it here. On the TV side, Marvel's been recognizing its operations to allow for greater control from showrunners, which is a better idea. A move made after the critical failure of the expensive Samuel L. Jackson spy series, Secret Invasion. Was it his series? I don't know if it was. Which sidelined Samuel L. Jackson. Executive producer Kyle Bradstreet, after a year with various creative factions vying for influence in his wake. The show had about 2.5 billion minutes of viewing over its 6-week run. I don't know if that's true or not. In the bottom third of Marvel's live action Disney Plus offerings so far. The focus is internal this year. Okay. Execs are not calling it a reboot, not even a soft one, but more of a creative retooling. Very nice. It's no secret that since Endgame, the company was asked to scale up in an unprecedented way to feed its fledgling streaming service, Disney Plus, then a top priority for Disney, which was in the thick of the streaming wars. First, under the direction of Disney CEO Bob Iger, and later his short-lived successor Bob Chapek. He conveniently retired at just the right time and then came back. By the way, Bob Iger has been secretly selling all his stocks amidst telling everybody to buy more Disney stocks. Interesting decisions, Bob. Marvel expanded into TV series and animation with the goal of the MCU becoming a place with a seemingly endless procession of year-round releases. It was an ask that proved too unwieldy to sustain. Some of the studios lost a little focus, so the first step that we've taken is that we've reduced volume. We've reduced output, particularly at Marvel, in order the films you're making can be even better. And I think that's what he said at that event where Elon told him to go F himself. He said that there wasn't enough executive supervision on the sets, which I think is hilarious. Because the people that they're putting in charge of all these things are all their DEI hires, which is mandatory. So kind of digging yourself your own grave there, Disney. I'm upset the Mandalorian feared the one and only chubby woman in the show. I used to watch that show having a My Dating shirt on, and the best letters ever Burger King is, I don't know what you're saying here, but okay. The girls are the best. Okay.
He's talking about Gina Carano. He misses Gina Carano in The Mandalorian.
I agree with you. With you again. Based.
I do believe he's probably 2 Bud Lights in.
Yeah.
Just two. Just
too deep.
All it takes. My English sucks. Oh, well, hey, you know what? That's okay. We welcome all people here, including Bud Light drinkers. So you are welcome, good sir. Big girls
Bud Light drinkers who were trapped in the wrong bodies, who also can't speak English. We accept them all.
This is great. The show is going places. It's going places. So yeah, as Hollywood strikes ended in November, the studio delayed Captain America: New World Order 7 months to February 14, 2025 to give it time to undergo reshoots. Of course, Iger touted Captain America 4 starring Anthony Mackie as among the 2025 Disney release he was most excited for during the earnings call. He did not mention Blade, leading to speculation that it'll be moved from its November 2025 date. It's unlikely Marvel will release 4 films that year, given Iger's mandate to slim down. So yeah, they're not going to give up. They want to make something great. Okay. I find it hilarious that they're making Anthony Mackie the kind of the leader of the Avengers. He doesn't have super serum. So how is he really going to be kind of, an unstoppable Captain America? I don't see how that's going to work for you.
Right.
But I'm sure they'll come up with some bogus reason.
Maybe. Or it'll just be one of those things where you just don't even know, or you don't even notice it. He's just, what do you call that? Where it just works in the show? I don't know.
Plot armor.
Plot armor. That's what it. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. There was a comic I think where he like stopped the Juggernaut with his shield, and it's like, I feel like your body would be shattered. Or no, it was the Red Hulk. It was Red Hulk punched his hammer and he stopped it. I'm like, really? Okay.
You sure about that?
Yeah, you sure about that? You sure about that? That's why. Yeah. The hammer or the shield could take it, definitely. But just like in John Wick 4, where he took a shotgun point blank, that's not how physics work. But whatever.
You sure about that?
You sure about that? So yeah, more great news. We haven't heard a single thing about Rings of Power Season 2. But hold your horses. Rings of Power Season 3.
This is great news. Leave it at that.
Rings of Power showrunners signed new Amazon deal, begin early work on Season 3. Great. Awesome. By the way, House of Dragons Season 2 comes out officially in June. We're very excited about that. So,
Christmas.
I think Christmas in June, I guess, this year. But we still haven't heard anything about Rings of Power Season 2. Patrick McKay and JD Payne ink new 3-year overall deal with Amazon MGM Studios as they prep a potential third season.
Maybe I should check Amazon. Maybe it did come out and they're just not saying, they're just
yeah.
Well, they're sneaking it.
Somebody would have seen it. Life is good. Bud Light listening to the Dixie Chicks and following Jane Fonda doing a workout. Nice. Rings of Power. I'm not going to say the first part because it's not Lord of the Rings. Rings of Power showrunners have struck a new overall deal with Amazon MGM Studios, a potentially bullish sign for the future of the fantasy series. What? I can't follow you, man, but thanks for being here. Patrick McKay and JD Payne have signed a 3-year deal, which also launches their own production company, 1040 PM Productions, whatever that means. The duo wrote and executive produced season 1 of the Emmy nominated, just so you know, it's Emmy nominated, Rings of Power, which debuted in the fall of 2022. The show stands as Amazon's most watched original series and ranks in Nielsen's streaming chart. Everything from Nielsen's streaming chart is bullshit. So it's
that's the most watched, but only 30% of the people who started it finished it.
Yes. Yeah. Everything that guy just says bullshit. The words of Joe Pesci himself. The show's second season has wrapped filming and will be released later this year. If that happens, we don't know if that'll happen. While a third season hasn't officially been ordered and writer's room has not yet opened, the showrunners have started to break the initial story outline. In addition, Amazon is planning to move the show's production hub from whatever. We began this remarkable journey with JD and Patrick more than 5.5 years ago and have never looked back. You didn't look back to any of the source material either, apparently. Or the fan favorite, some of the greatest, if not the greatest movies of all time. When the director of those said movies offered his help and you denied that help, of course you have not looked back at anything.
You've heard of an unexpected journey, and this is the unexpected piece of crap.
Oh yeah. The expected journey of woke Hollywood. We continue to be amazed by the scope and scale of their vision and the enormous global success achieved by Rings of Power. Right. I love this because it's like when this first came out, they were like, oh my gosh, it's amazing. It's so successful. Months later, they're like, okay, can we all admit this was trash? Everybody was great. Even the influencers you had like on your podcast or whatever for the release of the show, most of them were like, yeah, I didn't actually have time to watch it yet. I've actually been watching House of the Dragon. It's like, dude, you can't make this stuff up. But now they're back to saying it was a global success. So here we are again. It was trash. I agree, good sir. Yes. So global success of The Rings of Power in its first record-breaking first season. We can't wait for Prime Video customers to experience the epic adventure and high-stakes drama that they have continuing to build throughout season 2 and beyond. Yeah, we're excited too. We're very excited, and we will be talking about it. So, amongst nobody else. Naturally, the studio is thrilled to extend our overall deal with these brilliant creative minds as they continue to deliver on their passion for great storytelling. So what's the new stuff here? Well, it's going to be bigger and better on every level by an order of magnitude. The bar has to keep going up. Oh, okay. Yeah. I get your vision.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. Wow. So very exclusive Hollywood Reporter. Very good.
Yeah, I love the fact that this is about season 3 and we have like zilch on season 2.
And it's not even anything new about season 3. It's just there's gonna be a season 3.
There's gonna be one.
Don't know what is happening. We don't know what season 2 is happening, but it's gonna happen.
And season 3 will follow.
And season 1 was a record-breaking deal. You can't convince us otherwise. Okay. Keep using
also we're delusional.
Keep using your Comic Sans Mordor font up there and everything. Great about season 1.
Man.
Good on you guys. All right. Moving on to video games. Sweet Baby Inc., who, if you have heard anything, if you've been following the controversy behind Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League, the White House have an emergency press release. Okay. We'll review that later, but we are talking about nerd stuff right now, not politics. Maybe we'll check that out later. But yeah, Sweet Baby Inc., who was the kind of the script writers behind what? Bigfoot claims to have seen talkers. Oh gosh.
He got you. He got you good. You got him good.
Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot believe this. This is breaking news. This is unreal.
Exclusive from the Hollywood Reporter.
Exclusive. We've got big boots on the ground viewer, Polar Knights.
Just
claims.
You know what we and Bigfoot have in common? Nobody's ever seen us. So
I love it.
They're not going to believe it because Bigfoot's never been seen. So yeah, maybe one day. So Sweet Baby Inc. They were basically the DEI. They're a DEI company, essentially, that basically takes video game scripts and rewrites them for modern day audiences. So they were the masterminds behind the incredible Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. And they're getting a lot of heat right now. And so something amazing has happened recently on Steam. And Sweet Baby Inc. is not happy. Sweet Baby Inc. staff throws tantrum after Steam curator lists created to track warned players against their work. So on Steam, I don't know if they have an image of it. Where is it? I think it's a little button. Well, there it is. So they have a little detector that says Sweet Baby Inc. detector, and you could follow it on Steam. So it'll notify you if a game if Sweet Baby Inc. was any bit involved with that game. So this is incredible. I love this, and Sweet Baby Inc. of course is furious about it. So I don't know if we should read through this whole entire thing, but that's kind of the big deal here. So one of the big games was the what was that game that had the Black Rose? Like, is this really happening? This is really happening right now, where she had like superpowers. Pretty sure that was Sweet Baby Inc. as well. So I don't know if this is still up, but this is incredible. And I hope these kind of things keep happening because it's what they deserve. So, yeah, this is a long article. Don't really want to read through it all, but pretty freaking awesome. So guys, remember we were talking about George R. R. Martin not writing books? He wrote a book, a cookbook.
Nice.
Hey, all things considered, that's pretty good.
All things considered, that's not bad.
Yeah. This Game of Thrones cookbook features 80 Westeros-inspired recipes with a foreword written by George R. R. Martin.
Wow.
You know,
So
I guess you also
he just wrote the foreword.
I mean, it's kind of like Elden Ring too.
You should have written a book, 365 days of all the snacks I ate while I was working on my annual blog.
The best shows and movies immerse viewers so convincingly into their respective universes that even the most mundane activities or objects can be seen as fixtures of the show. One of the most pervasive of these fixtures, food. So, do we really need a Game of Thrones cookbook? Because half the things that are eaten in Game of Thrones are body parts. So, do we really want a Walder Frey pie? I don't really want that. But, you know, maybe there's some good stuff in here. But apparently, the writer of this cookbook's written other ones. So there's Elder Scrolls, Firefly, World of Warcraft, and Star Trek. So if you're interested, go check out George R. R. Martin's latest addition to his works, the official Game of Thrones cookbook, forward by George R. R. Martin.
Great.
So yeah, great news. Good job, George.
Instead of a leg of lamb, it's a leg of Bran.
A leg of Bran. Nice.
You don't need them anyways.
Yeah. So I guess he was involved in the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC. So, you know, maybe he was doing something worthwhile, I guess, recently. But it continues to be a fantastic meme, and we will never stop making fun of him. So thank you, George. All right. Time for some more Mary Sue. How are all these neckbeards and Republican fans of the X-Men? They're literally not for you. This might be the most ironic article I think I've ever read, which we will get through it all. But just keep that in mind. It is hilarious how ironic this article is. Sometimes the men with patchy beards overflowing into their necks. Does this look like a patchy beard to you, lady? You probably have hairy armpits, by the way, so you know you're the one to talk. The men with patchy beards overflowing into their necks, you know, the ones who champion Comicsgate, okay, say the most baffling, at least self-aware things. Sounds exactly like what you're doing right now. There is no self-awareness at all in this entire article. Like how they don't want the X-Men to be woke in X-Men 97. Yes, those X-Men. Guess they just never paid attention to the story. Okay. Why don't you give us the breakdown here? What's her name? Rachel. Let us look at what comics legend Chris Claremont said about the X-Men in 1982. The X-Men are hated, feared, and despised collectively by humanity for no other reason than that they are mutants. So what we have here, intended or not, is a book that is about racism, bigotry, and prejudice. Okay. This makes sense since Stan Lee and Jack Kirby were inspired by the civil rights movement to create the superheroes. Okay. That's not true at all. They were not. That is not the origin of the X-Men. The X-Men were created because Stan Lee was tired of having to create origin stories for all his characters. So he just decided, why not make a big group of characters who all have the exact same origin stories and call them mutants? That was the creation and the origin of the X-Men, not the civil rights movement. So No, you're incorrect.
Also, does this mean that people who all the other people that were racist toward are mutants? Is that right? Am I reading that right? Is this guy calling other people races and sex mutants? Is that what he's saying?
You could look at it that way, or you could look at the fact that is literally what they're doing to us. So, I guess what you're saying is that we are the X-Men here. I guess what you're saying is true. You're just reversing roles. But truly, the X-Men were actually created for everybody. Everybody, because nerds don't fit in usually. Nerds are the outcasts. Nerds are the people who don't fit in with society. And that was who the X-Men were created for. Sure, a bunch of stories have probably been written about the bigotry and racism and prejudice of society, but that is not what they were created for. So, no, you are incorrect.
So buzz
X-Men buzz off. The X-Men are already woke. A woman that turns into a man at will. Yeah, I mean, again, that's the X-Men 97. That is not from the X-Men the animated series.
Good old Morph.
It includes sex mutants. Nice.
And this is why we're outcasts from society.
This is why we are outcasts. How's the hentai over there? Lee spoke to The Guardian in 2000, where he said, I couldn't have ever everybody bitten by a radioactive spider is zapped with the gamma rays. And it occurred to me that if I just said that they were mutants, it would make it easy. There you go. Then it occurred to me that instead of them just being heroes that everybody admired, what if I made other people fear and suspect and actually hate them because they were different? Sounds like a certain day in January.
Nice.
What if I loved that idea? It not only made them different, but it was a good metaphor of what was happening in the civil rights movement in the country at that time. Again, afterthought, 2000. This is not 1982. Sweet, they made a hentai about Bill Clinton. Nice. I love that you're just going off the rails. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I love it.
But it was not what they were founded on. It was not what they were originated on. Those were not the ideas. By the way, I don't claim to be an X-Men expert, but I guarantee that I've read more X-Men comic books than this lady ever has. And it's hilarious because Nerd Radical will like get into these arguments on Twitter, and all he has to say it's hilarious because they'll be like, you're just a grown man with a bunch of action figures. And then on the opposite side, they'll say, you don't know what you're talking about at all. You're not a real fan of this, where he'll literally just post pictures of him watching Doctor Who from the 1950s or show his entire comic book collection. And then all he has to say is, show me your comic book collection. Show me that you're an actual nerd. These people are not real nerds. They're just retards. That's all they are. And yeah, so the people who yell the loudest usually are trying to cover up for something. So get out of our fandom, please.
It's that they drink Bud Light. That's what they're trying to cover up.
That's right. Yeah. Why is this all important? Please inform us. Because those Republicans, alt-right voices, one and the same, obviously, trying to take over the comic universe.
Take over.
It was ours to begin with, ma'am. And again, comics are for everyone. So you have a place in it too if you want to be in it. Just don't complain about how it already is. And at this point, they're just trying to say it's theirs just because they've already infiltrated it. So yeah, maybe current day is yours, but real comics are not yours. Trying to take over the comic book universe have been loudly screaming. Sounds to me like you're screaming right now writing this. You're probably ripping your hair out. You probably have no hair at this point. Have been loudly screaming that they don't want these characters to be turned into some woke thing. Have you met the X-Men? Yes, I've read X-Men comics.
Why is there a ... between have you met?
Have you met the X-Men?
Slamming that period. Gotta get a new keyboard after that. The definition of woke. Okay, please inform us the definition of woke. According to Merriam-Webster, they're just, it's official when they quote Merriam-Webster, which, by the way, changes words in their dictionary to fit modern day agendas. So that's the source here. Is aware of and actively attentive to important societal facts and issues. Yeah, I think we're all aware what's going on. The term woke is actually kind of the opposite of that. You are actually kind of so in your own world that you aren't aware of what's actually happening in the world. You aren't aware of what actually is truth. And, you're kind of, that's you. That's your own bubble. If you want to say, okay, maybe that's what the X-Men were because they were like segregated from everybody else. Sure. But that does not imply woke. That just implies outcasts, which at this point I'd say pretty well represents our side of the aisle. So kind of what the X-Men always were. Nope. You're wrong. We are the best husbands we did learn in from anatomically correct toys. We did not know our shit at the wedding night. Darn tight.
No, we did know our
We did know our shit at the wedding night. Nice. This is the funniest part. These clowns never understood the things they claim to love. You claim to love something that you do not understand actually at all. So, good luck with that argument. The point is that the origins of the X-Men are connected to injustice and function as a metaphor for any marginalized community. And I love how that actually only means their communities are marginalized. So when men yell into the void angrily about inclusion and diversity, they're missing the entire fucking point of the X-Men franchise. Wow. It sounds like you're yelling into a void right now. But your hairy armpits will absorb all the noise, so it's okay. They have been allegories to HIV, AIDS, and Marvel comic history, amongst many other connections to complex human rights issues. What I'm trying to say, she's trying to get this argument out. What I'm trying to say is that acting like the X-Men are suddenly woke is laughable. What you're telling me is that you never paid attention. I still think you haven't read an X-Men comic, but okay. And yet all these clowns, she had to use the word twice. All these clowns watched X-Men 97 trailer and made comments about how they hope it is good and not woke. They've become enraged because Morph is non-binary, which makes sense given the history of the X-Men. They are so loud, yet so wrong. I love how she's trying to convince everybody that she's right. You can own as many action figures as you want, Nerdrotic, but if you don't understand what these characters are trying to teach you, you have wasted your breath and time posing as a fan.
We just want good versus evil and good to win.
Well, I'm just like flabbergasted here. What do you mean posing as a fan? You know what real fans are? Fans are people who have been in love with this thing since their beginning or at some point, right? And will continue to love that thing no matter what happens. No matter what, if it's trashed, if it, becomes mainstream, if it gets out of mainstream, they're continually going to love that property. That's a real fan. And so, you can't really pose as a fan if you have been and will continue to be supportive of something. So you're kind of wasting your breath there, lady. And I mean, again, you're the only one who's being loud right now. So, calm your hairy armpits, lady. So yeah, X-Men's not for us. We shouldn't be surprised if X-Men 97 is woke, which You're right. I will not be surprised. And it's not for us. So there you go. That is Democrats' new slogan. We're never understood the things we claim to love. Yep. We never understood the things we claim to love. We're just stupid. But yeah. What a very ironic article. Because you're the posers. So we got some trailers. Have you guys heard about the amazing new movie coming out on National Women's Day, which is this Friday? Damsel from Netflix. If not, Mahler tweeted, I should have had this pull up, but I think I can probably find it pretty quick. Mahler tweeted about the poster for it. What are you guys' thoughts?
I mean, I think I know where it's going, but like it didn't really. As a trailer, I don't think it's that bad, but I think I know where it's going. You know what I mean? Like, it's a cool looking trailer, but I don't think the story is going to be that great.
Yeah. You want to go ahead and share? Okay. AI image prompt 2024 movie poster, generic title, insecure tagline, actress desperate to move on from TV show fame, corporate edgy, financial failure, Netflix film. Damsel, this is not a fairy tale. Yep.
It's like Stranger Things meets Alice in Wonderland meets some sort of fantasy. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. It just I don't think it's coincidence that it's coming out on International Women's Day. This is gonna be another Mary Sue. Add it to the list. This is current day Hollywood. But yeah, I mean, you never know. Millie Bobby Brown's not necessarily a bad actress, but I can already tell what this movie is. If it don't include some titties, don't watch it. You know what? Not a bad way to live. So yeah, I wanted to go through the Borderlands trailer too, but I don't know if Zach's jumping on. Sorry, The Flash. So we might go over it at another time, or we might play some Elden Ring and talk about it briefly during that point. So can we take a break really quick? Is that possible, or do we have to stop the stream?
We're gonna end here because we're gonna go to a different place to stream it.
All right, sounds good. So thank you, Polar Knights, for popping in tonight. What a great lad you are. You are definitely welcome here in the United States if you're not here. But yes, lots of fun things happening right now in Hollywood. The cringe continues, and we're very excited to see Dune Part 2, and hopefully we'll be reviewing that very soon. And of course, Avatar: Last Airbender. So we will be back in 2 weeks again. So just remember that. Don't forget about us, and send us those pictures of Sasquatch you found. That would be great.
Yeah. Of Sasquatch watching us.
That's right. Make a meme. Yeah. So go check out our Discord, Polar Knights. Go check out our Discord. It is in the description. It'll also be in the chat momentarily. And go check it out on our social medias. Let's see. Zach's sending me a text trying to get through bedtime. It's been a shit show.
It's got to be faster.
Fair enough. So yeah, go check us out on social media. and let's continue the conversation, guys. So yeah, thank you for tuning in, and we will catch you next time. Peace.